Hello, Paterson. This is Justice Reigns, and we are here for the flag raising, and we're having a great time out here, and you people need to get out here. We have to push our culture forward. So come on out. Thanks.
It's very important. Very often, people celebrate things that don't really know what they're celebrating or why. They think it's a day off, and that's it. But we have to be educated on what it is that we are doing. And this poem is in celebration of that, trying to figure out how we teach our children the important things about our history and do the things that the Juneteenth Committee is celebrating going forward. So this is how do I tell them. For every teardrop, there are 10,000 stories, historical, important, sad stories. Some my children have not heard. I haven't told them. I didn't want to break them. How do I tell them about Zimmerman, about acquittal and a young black boy shot to death when all he wanted to do was taste the rainbow? How do I tell them, Sterling Brown, about the gray days and dark nights when they came by tens? How will my children view their friends? Nikki G, how do I tell them, my children, of not having when they've always had what they needed? All of their food comes from grocery stores. They don't have memories of rows of corns. They don't have any idea about removing ticks with fire after running in the fields. How do I tell them? What are the new blues, Angela Jackson? These children have miles of shoes. These children know love and the pantry is full. James Weldon Johnson, they know not of the stony road we trod. They have not weary feet. They are the bright stars we have cast. How do we tell them of our past? Do I tell them, Randall, in a bedtime story? Once upon a time, there was a bombing in Alabama. What about the charred bodies and the partygoers' remains of the postcards that celebrated the black bloodstains in the grass? Richard Wright, how do I tell them that? How does one utter words when there is no sweetness in them? How do I blemish my children's hearts? How do I tell them, Langston, about colors outside the rainbow? These children are from instant gratification from an eye paradise world. They don't know of hunting dogs picking up on their scent. They are not blue, Terrence Hayes. They are not blue. This question is for Gwendolyn Brooks. If my children never loiter while the bacon burns, nor hear stories of standing up on hard ground, will they still learn to sing? How do I tell them? Should I tell them, county, of the incident in Baltimore? Should they know which walls racism built up? What will they gain from true stories of men being drugged behind pickup trucks, spitting boys at Cambridge, citizens hosed down and jailed, leaders assassinated? Will they cry themselves to sleep? What will they dream of, Dr. King? Ms. Sanchez, will you help me to sing them the ancient warrior song to sing if their brothers or sisters should ever fail? Maybe some people will say that the world has changed and bloody racism was a long time ago, but it wasn't a long time ago. It was just a moment ago. It's just that now, time moves faster. Maybe Remika L. Bingham helped fry that chicken and pack those brown paper sacks for marchers headed to Washington. Baltimore in 1963 was arguably a long time ago. But Rodney King was just a moment ago. And there are other reasons to cook, other reasons to cry, other reasons to write poetry. Other moments have etched history since Remika packed those brown paper sacks, but now we forget faster. My children, perhaps you know some too, skip along in their bliss, unaware that colored children ever had a reason to fear. or that freedom was not accessible to everyone, or that voting wasn't always optional. Y'all need to get out and vote. How do I tell them about citizens dying to vote? Nikki G, I thank you for every single word you have ever written. Tell me, what method do you suggest a mother tell these stories? Should I sing to them a love song about brothers who struggle to be free under the foot of Uncle Sam, who maybe didn't trust brothers or don't trust brothers still to be somebody for somebody, even though everything the brother does is done because he's trying to be what he was promised he could be? Truly free? How do I tell them? Mr. Steptoe, my children don't know about working from can't see to can't see, and even though you've picked up the pieces, can my children even begin to understand your ancestral song? I want to tell them, but I don't know how. Perhaps the barbers will keep the story alive. Maybe the barbers will whisper the stories between hoopla and laughter. But what about my daughters? How will my daughters know? Do I tell them whilst they learn the recipe of grandmother, honey, get the big pot? Did I ever tell you how mamas would liberate their children from enslavement by the way of death? Or just a picture of that, honey. Did I ever tell you Uncle Rodney near killed by those cops? If I tell these stories, will the greens be bitter? Perhaps a chronology of backs over Sunday dinner would be better. The backs were beaten with whips. The backs were beaten with billy clubs. My mama lashed our backsides with switches. She didn't know no better past the peas. Lucille Clifton. How do we get the children to listen or die? Get them to know how it feels to see their mother's face turn to water under white words but not cry themselves. How do I tell them and still see them smile brightly, still hold back their heads in laughter, still marvel in their creation, still love themselves, their people, and all people? Miss Dr. Maya Angelou, ma'am, what is the responsibility of poets? Are we all historians, teachers, others, both? After we share with them our pain so that they know, do we raise them up again? If we paint their feathers, will they still fly? I, with my heart beating as if a warrior's drum, still young, relatively, still a dreamer, a realist too, a lover kind of poet, want the kind of knowing that allows the babies to cry with the knowledge that soothing is coming. I want my children to know the struggle but not live in it. How do I accomplish this? How do I tell them? Thank you.
And how did we get here? So June 19th, 1865, Union General Gordon Granger delivers news to slaves in Galveston, Texas that they are free. Now this comes after January 1st, 1863, the Emancipation Proclamation, so 2.5 years later, and they finally get the word of their freedom. And in that order, it does talk about equality for all, where the Emancipation Proclamation does not. So that order issued by General Gordon Granger takes it a step further and mentions equality for these individuals that were recently freed. And so we celebrate the fact that there's freedom, we're still fighting for equality. And we'd like to bring forward a gentleman who does fight for equality down in Trenton, our director of the Division of Recreation, our assemblyman for a justification of the celebration, Mr. Benji Wimberly.
Thank you, Mayor. Paterson, happy Juneteenth as we prepare to celebrate tomorrow's official celebration. But the justification is 246 years of slavery, 89 years of segregation, and 405 years of oppression. That is the justification. Millions of our ancestors that have died and are still at the bottom of the sea of the Atlantic Ocean during the transatlantic trade. Millions of our ancestors that died during the slaves and have never been acknowledged. Those who have fought for the freedom of this country through the Civil War are our ancestors. Those who have built this country, like Benjamin Banneker, who developed the design for Washington, D.C., have put this country together. Those who have made so many contributions from anything that you could think of, from finding 100+ uses of a peanut by George Washington Carver to taking care of people's families and raising other people's families. That's the justification. The justification is that we never received our 40 acres and a mule. The justification is that reparations is more than what we deserve. Free education, housing, you name it, that's reparations. These are the things that we fought for, our ancestors have died for, and that we shall never forget. So Rodney Addison and many of the young folks that are here now taking the torch and moving forward on this, never forget and never apologize for being unapologetically black. God bless you and happy Juneteenth.
Thank you. Thank you, Assemblyman.
Come on. That's right.